Hey YouTube, so we're at the Dutch John parking lot, and we're all set up to go to Daniel. We are going to go up the backside of Daniel and then play on the summit, and then some of the Jeeps might go down the face, but there's nobody today that's in our group that's going to be going up the face. And then a small subset of the group, I guess, broke off, and they're going to do some screens and stuff. I forgot which trails they're doing, but they're just going to go around and do like Rocky Mountain Highway and stuff like that. So anyway, you're going to get to see footage from Daniel, so stay tuned.
Hey, so I sped up the video significantly in different parts. So obviously we're going to be driving a lot slower than what you see. So this is the beginning of the Daniel Trail. It starts with these two signs that are on Dutch John that show pictures of an ATV and a UTV, and it says not advised, which I always find is like a very interesting sign. It doesn't actually say not allowed or like prohibited. It just says not advised, like they don't advise people to come up here in UTVs or ATVs. Which is kind of unfortunate because this is probably like one of the funnest trails in the park to me. Even in a UTV, I think this is probably the funnest one. But yeah, the Forestry Service doesn't advise you to bring like a small vehicle up here. So anyway, so this is a rock slab that we were getting up to. The rock slab is this very wide set of obstacles. And I'm going to walk up there and get pictures of some of the different Jeeps. I believe this is Lawrence up here, the first Jeep in our group going up. The cool thing about this is it's a very wide obstacle, so you can actually have like 2 or 3 Jeeps going up it at the same time if you really wanted to. We chose to only do one at a time because we only had one person up here spotting. And there's Lawrence up there. But I have seen epic kind of pictures where people will have like 2 or 3 Jeeps going up or down this at the same time. And if you can get the right angle, you can get really a really fantastically nice cinematic photo. And this is like the one of the key or main photo locations that you see. So that route that Sebastian just took to make a note is the easy route, and you saw that he had no problems getting up it. He had no spotting, and he has a Grand Cherokee. So you know anybody can come up to Daniel if they want, essentially. And as long as I know to take the route that Sebastian just took, they shouldn't be worried about their Jeep really at all. These routes that the Wranglers are on are going to be some of the little more challenging routes. But once again, these obstacles, like for AOA and Roush or whatever, for comparison to parks, would be roughly blue obstacles for like the left side. So this is roughly blue territory. It's really hard to say if it's like light blue or dark blue. It's definitely not black territory at all. Possibly even the route that Sebastian took might be even say green territory. But this line that I'm on here, for example, this line would be like blue territory. Now this area that I'm going over, just for comparison for people like watching this, would be similar to Crawler Ridge at Roush Creek, and I'm talking about the end of Crawler Ridge, whereas there's that like kind of like big hill, and Crawler Ridge is another badge of honor trail that so if you went up to Roush, you could get a badge, and if you were wanting to go up there but you didn't know how Roush was, and you're like, I want to go do Crawler Ridge. Crawler Ridge is basically just like that right there where you just did. There's some other things, but it's on the same like difficulty level of this footage that you're seeing here. Now, compared to the other two badge trails at Roush, there's one trail that's just like a number. That one is like super, super easy. Anybody can do that one. And then the other one, Crawl Daddy. Crawl Daddy is substantially harder than Daniel. So there's another one of our crew members going up the rock slab at Daniel. And you can see, so what's interesting about this obstacle so much is because it's so wide and it has so many different angles on it, you could really just like kind of play on this obstacle for a while, because you could go up this obstacle all these different routes, and kind of like every time you go up it, it's not going to be exactly the same. But with that said, I mean, this is like maybe like 200 feet of trail. So obviously, it probably could get boring, after you were here for like, say an hour just playing on it. But this is one of the main obstacles at the Uwharrie Park, and it is one of the very picturesque ones because you can get your Jeeps lined up. It would look kind of stupid to have like say 20 Jeeps like all side by side, but I've seen like pictures of Jeeps on here where you have like one on the left, one on the right, maybe a couple in the center at different points, and it actually looks kind of cool having like your whole kind of Jeep crew going up at the same time. And that's James up there that's doing all the spotting and stuff. And like the one thing that you'll see is like he basically was just like figure out what your line is, figure out what you feel comfortable with trying to do, and then he'll go over there and try to help you if you need help to get over um, the obstacle that you're doing. And as you can see, nobody's really rushing each other. Everybody's kind of getting their own time and their own shot at the trail, which is like the safe way to do it. Even if you did feel like you were capable or whatever, everybody's just letting everybody kind of have their own time to do this, and having somebody spot. So this Jeep right here, I think, is on 35s. It might be 37s, and it looks like maybe about a 4-inch lift ish. It's a JK also, obviously. And you can see the front and rear wheels are moving. They're not moving at the same speed, so I don't think that she has lockers that are engaged. But you did see that they're both moving. It's hard to tell if the ones on the other side are moving. But you can see that these obstacles, they're not trivial obstacles by any means. But they're not like impossible obstacles either. And like I was saying, so these obstacles are optional. You saw Sebastian just like went like straight up, like going the like right around the whole obstacle. That's sort of the theme of Uwharrie. Most of the obstacles on most of the trails have bypasses. Most of them are kind of like optional. It's very rare to. And right here, he's like, "Hey, stop!" He was like upset that she was so close to the edge. There was like a potential like rollover that might have happened if that back tire slid off the obstacle. So that was why he had her back up a foot or two. So if you're always doing something like that, always try to be safe. And if you're by yourself or you're with somebody who is less experienced, you can always just get out of your Jeep and just like walk over and see how close you are to the edge. But that was one of those things. There was no way for her to be able to see that her tires were that close to the edge, and there was all the potential of the danger of like a rollover if the tire slipped off that edge. I really like that hatchback, the way the top is on the Jeep. Like I like the look of the top. Functionally, I kind of like the square better than the angle on the inside because I actually put my cooler and stuff back there, and having like it at an angle like that, I think it has a really nice look. But I think functionally it probably wouldn't work for me. And once again, I mean, you can see everybody picked a different line on this obstacle. I don't think any two Jeeps like picked the exact same line. And for the most part, that's kind of what makes this trail so cool because, even as a guide or a spotter, you're not giving the exact same advice like over and over and over again repeatedly. You're letting the drivers kind of pick and choose their lines, and you're having to be challenged as a spotter also on how to get people over all these different variations on the obstacles. So anyway, that was a rock slab on Daniel. So now we are going to head up to the summit, and the summit is like a little bit harder than this. You'll see. So anyway, thanks. Please like and subscribe.